Hi Boomer fans, welcome to this week's edition of Coach's Corner, proudly brought to you by Lucerne Investment Partners and Econ Financial. This week's guest is one of our exciting additions to the Boomers this season, and you will quickly learn is a very talented all-rounder. Whether it be 5-on-5 or 3-on-3, she is great to watch, and I'm also really looking forward to hearing more about her world-class surfing adventures. Everyone should be really looking forward to seeing this one play this season. Welcome, Izzy Wright. Hi, Iz. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Thank you for allowing me to interrupt your busy working day. 2020, what a drainer. What have you been doing with the spare time that you've gathered?
Well, this year has definitely been a lot different to what I envisioned 2020 to be. I have just been working from home, which is an adjustment. At the start, it was a bit of a novelty, but that's definitely worn off. Spare time, there's a lot of it. A lot of Netflix, a lot of dog parks, and a lot of reading. That's all I can do, really.
You would have normally been playing with the mighty Nuttall Inspectors for NBL 1. You would have got a whole lot of extra time from that. Have you picked up any new hobbies, anything be different?
Initially, we were allowed to play tennis and golf, and there was a few leisurely activities we could do. So I was spending a lot of time playing tennis. Now that that's all shut down, look, I'm really not very productive at all, to be honest. A lot of work, and that's it.
So tell us about your job.
I work in finance for an investment manager, and my particular role is a portfolio analyst. A lot of numbers and Excel spreadsheets is probably the best way to explain it.
I had this chat with Tony last week that you are two working girls, a lot like I had to do, and all of us had to juggle the work and the basketball. How are you finding it?
It's definitely a bit of a challenge. You know, I really actually do enjoy my job, and I enjoy training. It's just juggling, time management, and it's been challenging but rewarding.
So you and your husband Tom, I know, love an adventure. Reflecting back on all the adventures that you have been on, what do you guys get up to? What do you like to do, and what are kind of your standout adventures?
Probably the most memorable one, probably sounds a little bit crazy, but on our honeymoon we went, did Everest Base Camp trek. A couple of years ago we did a 5-month trip around. Okay. We did got around the world ticket, and so ticked off a few places. This year we had a plan to do a month trip to Morocco and Egypt, but obviously had to cancel that. Yeah, we're probably like 2 or 3 days away from booking our flights, and then it all just went downhill. So that was lucky that we didn't actually book it.
Can you let us know your background with your surfing?
I grew up on the Gold Coast, and both my parents, my mum started probably one of the first surf schools on the Gold Coast, and my dad made surfboards for a living. It was kind of just in my blood. I don't even remember the first time I ever stood up on a surfboard. I was sponsored by Roxy for quite a time, which was great. From when I was 13 to 18 or 19, just getting unlimited Roxy clothing and wetsuits, you know, whatever my heart desired, I got, which was a pretty crazy thing when you're a teenager. I surfed in, you know, all the major Australian competitions. I won a couple when I was younger. Probably the biggest one was, there's one, the Grom Fest. I won that. There's one called the Grom Search. I won that. I've won a state title, made some finals of a nationals, but never won it. So yeah.
What made you move away from surfing?
When I was also a teenager, I went through some pretty heavy health issues and had to spend about a year away from not surfing, not playing basketball, not doing anything. And I can be philosophical about it now, but at the time I came back and realized that it's, you know, such a individual sport, and you have such great friends when you're on the sand not competing. Then you get out in the water, and you know, it just totally changes. There's something about being on a team like what basketball is that, you know, it's you can't get that in individual sport. So I mean, I came back from all the issues I had, and my heart just wasn't really in it anymore. So I just kind of slowly transitioned away from, you know, that being my number one focus.
Tell us how you got into basketball.
My brothers played when I was little, and I just wanted to do everything they did. So I started playing and then just never stopped, really. I mean, I was surfing all at the same time, going in competitions. I wasn't really very serious about it until I left high school and said, oh, I can get a free education and go to college. So just went down that route.
With the basketball, that means you started really late, which makes it even more impressive that you're now playing in the WNBL. I think it's a great story. So tell us what the pathway was for you.
Yeah, after high school, I went to college and ended up at University of San Diego. It was good. I still got to surf while I was in college. That was a big for me. And then came back and played C-ball, played WNBL for Logan Thunder, and then it's never really been something where I've been like, this is my career or anything like that. It's just one thing's led to another, and that's kind of how I've ended up with the Boomers now.
What has made you make the decision to come back and give WNBL another crack this year?
I kind of joke that it's a bit of my Stephen Bradbury moment, where the fallen skaters are the imports in the league. They're all down, and I've just kind of like skated on through back onto a team. After I played at Lynx, I was kind of like, oh, I want to focus on my career. Don't really want to juggle, all these basketball and trying to work. So I took a step back. But now with COVID and having this opportunity without imports in the league, I really missed it when it got taken away at NBL 1. So I thought, why not give it another crack? I'm really excited.
Now that we've been training for a few weeks, how are you feeling about it all? How do you feel you fitted in? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I kind of said before, I'm enjoying training, which is not something that previously I would ever said. As far as fitting into the team, I knew a handful of the girls. There was a few that I didn't know too well, but obviously I've played against different times. But I think they're a great bunch, and I'm really enjoying being around them and training, and makes me more excited for the season.
You have to pack up all your work and bring it with you on the road. Obviously, we're going to a hub. How are you feeling about that?
I have some concerns about trying to juggle it all. It will be really, really full on, but pre-COVID, remote working wasn't a thing that I had ever done. I'd always been in the office and quite long hours. So now we've just adjusted to it, and will be the new norm for 2.5 months, and I'm sure I'll get by.
But it is a bit of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everybody. Everyone's going to be living together. Pretty much it's a 24/7 basketball situation. So there's an excitement to it too. Do you agree?
I suppose college was the last time I lived like closely with teammates, and it's going to be a very insular environment. But as much as I have concerns about some things, they're overweighed for excitement about other aspects of it.
What do you feel you bring to the Boomers group?
A positive mental attitude, perhaps. I like to think that I'm a good teammate. I'm competitive. I try hard. So, I hope that's something that I can bring to the team.
Already it's very evident that you look at this very differently to what a lot of players do. Do you still have goals that you've given yourself for this season and beyond, personally, basketball-wise?
Yeah, I think my goal isn't necessarily, based on court time or points or what some players might have, set their goals. But I definitely want to, try my hardest and leave it all out of the floor and not have any regrets on this whole experience, because like I said, this is a perfect storm for me, and this opportunity, we're never going to have a situation like this, hopefully ever again, where there's no imports or in a hub. So I just want to look back at this opportunity with fondness, hopefully when it's all over, and say that, I gave it my all and I left, nothing out there. So
reflecting back over everything that right from surfing from a young age to going to college to having, now this is your third WNBL team that you've been able to have an opportunity to play. What are your standout memories right across?
The year when I played with Perth, the Perth Lynx, was their first year, and it was really that first year that they got bought out by the Wildcats, and It was a really cool atmosphere to be a part of, where they just tried to kind of emulate what the Wildcats have and put it into a women's program. So that was really cool to be a part of, and we had a really great team. We made the grand final, so that was an experience. Some players play a whole career, however many years, and they don't get to play in a WNBL final. So that was definitely a highlight. I also played a year in Hobart when it was Seabull, and Kayla came down and played, and that was probably one of my favourite years. We made the grand final as well. Also did not win, which was a bit of a bummer, but that was a really fun year, and I'm really excited to play with Kayla again because of the fun we had down in Hobart.
So looking back across all these times and now going into this WNBL season, what advice would you give a younger Izzy?
Probably just to stop caring what other people think of you. I think that's probably a lot of women in their older years can give a young version of themselves that advice. Be yourself. Stop trying to be what other people want you to be.
Nickname?
Well, Izzy is my nickname, but my nickname of my nickname is Iz.
Favourite saying or word?
Nothing healthy about a tan.
Any pets?
Yes, one dog named Bob.
Outside of basketball, what is your favourite thing to do?
Travel, surf.
Who inspired you as a young athlete?
Back in my surfing days, Lane Beachley and Taj Burrow.
Favourite board game or card game?
Cribbage.
Something quirky we don't know about is?
I can solve a Rubik's Cube.
What is your favourite part about competing?
Doing it with teammates and sharing the highs and lows.
Any pre-game routine or superstitions?
Yes, I'm very superstitious. I always have to put on my socks before my shoes.
If you could invite any one guest to dinner, who would it be and why?
Probably, I've been reading a lot of books by Malcolm Gladwell, so I would say him. But if we want to be more topical, I would say not LeBron James, but someone close to LeBron James who could give all the goss about what it's like being best basketball player in the world and all the perks.
You mentioned you've watched a lot of Netflix. What's your standout series?
My greatest accomplishment in ISO has been finishing Parks and Recreation.
You mentioned you've been doing a lot of reading. What's your standout book, favourite book?
Currently reading High Fidelity by Nick Hornby, which I'm enjoying. So let's go with that.
Favourite movie?
Slumdog Millionaire.
Favourite pre-game pump-up song?
I don't often get control of the boombox, so I'm just happy to listen to whatever the kids are into these days. But if I had the choice, I would probably just put on the radio, Triple J.
Toilet paper folded over or under?
Over.
Favourite food?
Mexican.
Any celebrity crush?
My husband thinks he's famous because he was on The Chase once, so I'll go with Tom Wright.
Biggest pet peeve?
People on their phones at dinner.
Any injuries?
My biggest one was I did my shoulder when I tripped over the bottom of my track pants.
I don't mean to laugh. You did your shoulder when you tripped over the bottom of your tracksuit pants.
Yeah, I dislocated it.
Favourite emoji?
The smiley face with like little love hearts around it. I feel like it's really genuine.
It's been great chatting with you today. Hopefully this has given everyone an insight into the legend that you are. I'm really looking forward to working with you this year and very excited to see the impact that you can make on the league. So thank you again for your time and we'll catch you at training tomorrow morning.
Go Boomers.
Well, that's another edition of Coach's Corner. Don't forget to follow the Boomers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn and YouTube for all updated news. I hope you all have a fabulous week. See you next week.